Welcome to Wranglers Roundup. All right, how you guys doing? So we are in between Grand Arenas, finishing up our last week of 3v3. And one of the things I did after lock last time was I put a Zeta on Stormtrooper Han. So I wanted to try out this Invincible Han thing, just kind of see how it worked, where it worked, for where I have him, where he doesn't work, and put up some footage. So here we go, Invincible Han. Let's get into it. All right, so here's my STHan. I'm missing 3 pieces to get him up to gear 13. Obviously, he's going to do a lot better up there. But his Zeta is he will recover 5% protection every time he takes damage. So if you mod this guy up for protection like I have, you know, almost 80,000 K, even at low speeds, at gear 12, against, you know, similarly geared or less geared, like in Galactic War, it works great. So here what you see is this Phoenix team beating up on a solo STHan, and he never really loses any protection. In fact, he gains more protection than the damage they can put out on most of their hits. So that was my Zeta test, just kind of see how that looked in real life. Now, STHan does not have enough damage on his end to get through any of these Phoenix, so it just loops over and over and over and over again. But the Zeta works, right? Look at that. He's tanking it out like a MoFo.
Hell yeah!
That's right. So Invincible Han, once you get a Zeta on him, is you pair him with Wat. Now, the third, or the third, fourth, and fifth, based on your team comp, is totally up to you. What you do is you put the shield generator over on Han, and he's going to get, you know, about 4 grand, how I have him modded, per hit in protection recovery, but he's going to get almost 30k protection every time he takes a turn from Wat's tech. So, again, if the team you're going up against doesn't have the damage to get through that, Han just keeps recovering protection and protection and protection. Every time you hit him, whether it's a single attack or an AoE or an attack out of turn, it doesn't really matter. He's going to recover that little bit of protection. And then Wat gives him that protection tech where he recovers a big chunk of it every time Han takes a turn. So if you really want to optimize your Invincible Han, not only does he need to be modded for protection, but he needs to be modded for speed too. So the more turns he takes, the more times he gets that big chunk of protection back. So I experimented with Fulcrum, which is a tune I just don't have a home for right now, so this little 3-man team I'm excited to try in GAC in this last round. But I thought I'd try it with just kind of Rebels in general under a Stormtrooper Han lead. So they're going to get more defense while they're above 50% health, and more offense when they're below 50% health. Which again, I think that's backwards. It should be the other way around, but whatever. But as you can see, Rebels do just fine. Now that does steal 3PO and R2 and Wat, of course, from other teams that you might be able to use them in. So I'm like, well, let's see how it works with resistance. So we'll put Rey and a couple droids in there. Again, we're stealing R2, but not, you know, out of the ordinary for a resistance team. Especially if you're trying to save Finn and the new hero resistance tunes, and maybe like Holdo or something, as a secondary resistance team, if you're working towards that Galactic Legend Rey, or you have her already. You know, you could use some leftovers here. So between BB-8s and R2 speed bump, JTR does great anyway, and then you add in that invincible tank, and that solves the survivability issue for a lot of resistance teams under JTR. If you're going up against crew or bounty hunters, you know, you could probably even take this in against clones. You know, I had Galactic War to play with, so that's kind of the footage that we have here. But as you can see, with Wat superpowering the team, they never lose health and protection. You get full banners at the end of every battle. It's fantastic. So Resistance works, Rebels work. Let's try some other stuff. So we've got other Rebels that, for me anyway, I hardly ever get to use, and I did put some effort into getting them at least up to gear 12. So we've got the old Wedge and Biggs, the Wigs, old meta, the AoE meta. Put Stormtrooper Han in there. I don't really use Sabine anywhere. You know, she's kind of that 5th wheel, 6th wheel for the Phoenix team. But, you know, if you're using Ezra or Kanan in one of your Jedi teams, maybe you're using Sabine in your Phoenix team. But she works just fine. She's got the Rebel tag. And under the Wedge lead, she's going to regain health every time she crits. And she crits a lot, especially if you have her modded for crit chance and speed. So she's going to be kind of giving herself that health recovery. And again, Wat's just there to kind of superpower STHan and give survivability to the rest of the team. So we'll try it in again. We went up against Jedi. Now we're going up against an EP team. Again, it's just Galactic War, so these guys are, anywhere between Gear 8 and Gear 11. So under-geared. So STHan should never, ever lose protection, much less his health. And then one final Rebel comp here. Another Rebel I never really get to use, and I haven't leveled her up that much, is Princess Leia. But again, she's going to go under stealth. Wedge is going to do his big AoE thing. Biggs is going to assist. Kind of getting that machine gun Leia action going. And there you go. Just rocking through it. So one more team to get through here. We've got some Cody clones. Kind of geared up a little bit. And with some Zetas. But not all of them. I would have loved to see a Shock T team in here. And see if Stormtrooper Han can tank out a Rexalate. That would be kind of fun. But at these gear levels, even with Zetas, the clones just kind of go down in a big trash heap of fire as they were before Shock T lead, and certainly before a gas lead. So that is kind of the Invincible Han theory. Put Wat in there, give him the protection tech, and just let him tank out all those big hits. He never loses protection, even if you dispel it, he gets it right back. And again, if he was a little bit faster, he would actually gain that 30% protection even quicker and be even more annoying to get through. So that is my Invincible Han. I did try this out in Arena, and I couldn't fall back far enough to find a gas team that was not like, Relic 5 or whatever. It didn't work at all against Darth Revan, but theoretically you could put Stormtrooper Han and Wat into a CLS team, and you can take out a gas squad. Or you can put him in, with a different counter, with like your Sith Empire triumvirate. Darth Revan, Nasty Basti, and Malik, and then have Wat and Stormtrooper Han as your tanks. And that would get super annoying. So I just couldn't, at Gear 12, he's not viable in Arena right now. I will record my Grand Arenas, so hopefully we'll find some stuff that'll work there. But for right now, he works great in Galactic War. The Zeta does as advertised, and the Invincible Han theory works really, really well at or below the gear level of your Stormtrooper Han. So I hope that was enjoyable. I hope you guys had a good time. I look forward to seeing you guys on the holotables. We will see you in the next video. Thank you to Ben Sound for our cool jams today. Love what that guy does. Royalty-free music. Free to use. You just give him props and he's got all kinds of stuff there for you. Wranglers out!
Hell yeah!